everyone, Crow here, and this is my Neo Geo Collection video, or videos, as I'm sure this will take multiple parts. Just wanted a brief history on why I wanted a Neo Geo. Neo Geo happens to be my favorite system, and back when I was younger and there were arcades around, you had all these Neo Geo games in the arcades. And when I found out it was an actual system, I really wanted one. However, the price of those things back then, astronomical. And it's just something I've always wanted. It was like the holy grail of video game systems. And about 2 years ago, I sold enough stuff on eBay to where... Cat is biting my cords. Anyway, I bought enough stuff. I sold enough stuff on eBay to where I actually looked and I was like, "Hey, wait a minute! I could afford a Neo Geo and some stuff." So I wound up looking on eBay, and I wasn't sure what kind I wanted. I didn't know if I wanted a modified MVS. I didn't know if I wanted a US AES or a Japanese AES, because as you may or may not know, the Japanese and European and U.S. cartridges are all basically the same, even between AES and MVS, despite the fact that you need an adapter. All versions of the games are in each cartridge. It's the system itself that tells the cartridge which version of the game to play, whether it's the arcade version or the arcade version, or the U.S. version, or the American or U.S. version, or the Japanese version. So I'm like, well, you know what? If I get the Japanese version, I may not be able to read the text, but then it wouldn't be censored, because some of the American games were censored, like Samurai Showdown. They got rid of the blood. Well, what I wound up doing was I found this system on a website called Arcade Shock, and it's heavily modded. It has the Universe BIOS 2.2 in it, which allows me to say, okay, I want to play this game, I want to play the American MVS version, or the Japanese AES version, or the European version. And it also has cheats in it, and I felt it was the way to go. It was very expensive, but I had enough money in my PayPal account to cover it. So not only does it have the Universe BIOS in it, but if we look at the back here, it's been modified with all these aren't normally on there, with composite video, and then we have our left and right audio, because this jack, I believe, doesn't provide stereo sound. Normally you would have to plug into the headphone jack in the front here for stereo sound. But actually what these left and right audio jacks are, they're just wired into the headphones. So the first time I plugged this in, the volume was all the way down. I was like, I'm not getting any sound, something's wrong with it. Oh, you have to flip that up. Not only that, but we have S-video out and component out. It's very nice, and yeah, it's just, the picture quality is awesome on it. Not only that, but I had everything unplugged for this. Let's just plug this in. Okay, we got the power, and here are component cables. Let's see here, this is red, this is green, and this is, and you know what? No, I got it right. Okay, green, blue, and then here we have left, right audio, and I'm just gonna pop in a game. Oh, and also before I forget here, I also picked up one of these, the memory card. Now what's interesting about the memory card is it not only does it save your games, you could actually go into an arcade and pop your memory card in there and continue off from where you left off. And, if you had the home system, I don't know why you would need this. Why, if you could play the game at home for free, would you go into the arcade and spend money on it? I don't know. And before I turn this on, I do have one controller and two controllers. Let's make sure it doesn't fall off there. But the nice thing about this system, too, is it's also modded to where I turn the power on. the reset button glows green. Normally there was no LED lights on this, and yeah, they modded this with an LED light, so you know the system's on. Now to get to what I was showing before, I got to plug in a controller. Okay, hopefully it's in there. It's hard to do with one hand. So let's reset. And if I hold down A, B, and C, I get to this menu where it says region setup. Right now it's set up for USA Arcade. I can hit that and select, say I wanted the Japanese arcade version. Or I could go back in there and say the Japanese console version. I could change the dip switches if I hit, if it's the MVS version I choose. This just checks the cartridge to make sure it's okay. Jukebox player plays just music in the game. You can select, it finds the tracks, and you can play those musics, and then play the game. Also, when the game is booted up, if I hold start and select, I can cheat if I wanted to. Some games absolutely need it. Like Magician Lore. The game's impossible to beat. I'll get to that later. So this is Alpha Mission 2. I have it here in Japan. It's the ASD Last Guardian. Press start button. That's the console version. Well, if I had the arcade version selected, if I hit select, that would be equivalent to adding a coin in there. But let's cut away and actually get to these games I have here.
You are a beautiful man. Everybody in this house is a beautiful man.